Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I've been seeing a lot of questions recently about moms and dads asking why my child is whining so much. Why do they feel so distressed? Why is it that they've become overstimulated? And the reason is pretty simple, actually. It's because there's a disconnect between you and them. And I'm going to get into this later. But first, I really wanted to address the main reason why kids whine. There are thousands of ways we can get them to stop whining, but I think the more important thing is to understand why it is that they're whining. What are they trying to communicate with us, essentially? And the number one reason that kids whine is because they are trying to get our attention. That is a natural response that they give. Their natural, or this high-pitched voice is indicating that they need help or they need something like a resource that you have. Our natural response is most of the time frustration or anger, and that's perfectly normal because, if your kid's sitting there whining, you're going to want to respond in a harsh manner to get them to stop because naturally we think this will help them. But in fact, this is only going to make matters worse. A reason they want your attention is because most of the time they feel stressed. They're hungry, they're tired, they're anxious, and this is most of the time due to the fact that they're out of routine. And this might be happening more frequently because, right now we're at a loss of routine. Nothing is, permanent. So they're not getting up at the normal time. They're not going off to school or seeing their normal caregiver. There is no sort of strict routine. So we're in this kind of state where we don't really know what kind of rules to address and what kind of routine that we should be sticking to. So you might find that during this time your children are probably whining more, and it's because they're out of routine. So by implementing a strict routine, we can maybe make this process a little bit easier, but whining is essentially not going to stop because that's not the only reason that whining occurs in the first place. It's not just because they're out of routine. They want your attention, and they don't necessarily know how to communicate that to you. So this is just one of the ways that we can, make note of that. We can understand, okay, they want us attention. They want our attention. Now we can address it. We can ask them, okay, what is it that you want? What is it that you need help with? At a more understanding and calm level, you will be able to communicate with them better. Now, that's essentially the next reason why they do whine. It's because they need more positive connection. And this might be the case if they feel that you're not giving enough attention to them, not necessarily physical or something that requires them to stay alive, but just attention, like spending time with them, playing with them, dancing with them, laughing with them, building something with them, something that you guys can build a bond with. And I've talked about this previously in several of my videos, and I'll be linking them down below. Make sure you check those out because I think those will be super helpful because building that strong connection is essentially the foundation for anything that you choose to do with them. And this included. A third reason they might want to whine is because they need to express their feelings. And sometimes, especially toddlers, when they get to that age between 2 and 4, this is typically how they express their feelings. Whether they're mad, they're angry, they're frustrated, they're sad even. This is just a normal expression of sadness and disappointment, and we have to sort of understand that. We have to come from an understanding level of, okay, this is how they're reacting, let's give them some time to cool down, and the more you give into it, the more it's going to occur. So what we want to do is just let them take this time and really fully feel into those emotions rather than address them with anger. And that's essentially the fourth reason why they whine is because it's variable reinforcement. So if you're giving into your child whining and if you're rewarding them after, say, if you stop whining, I'll do this, I'll give you this, that's just going to cause them to keep whining. And I know it's really hard to stay away from this because it seems like the easy way out. In the long run, it's not, because this is essentially what's going to be feeding that fire. They're going to just continue to do this as long as you are giving them that reward. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 ways that you can prevent whining from happening and understand really how this affects them. So the first way is to refuse to give them that attention. So one of the reasons that I talked about, the variable reinforcement, as long as you feed that fire and you give them attention and you reward them after even, it's going to keep happening. So if you don't pay attention to it, I know this almost seems impossible, it is likely going to diffuse. And what I mean by that is if you stop addressing that they're actually having this tantrum, this whining tantrum, it's going to stop. It's going to have to stop because you're not giving that attention, and therefore in their heads, this isn't working. So we should try something else. And it removes the payoff phase for them, which is you giving them the attention. If you want to stop giving their attention, let them know and be clear about this, that you will only give them attention, you will only listen to them if they talk in a normal voice. We have to sort of reinforce positive behaviors and stay away from yelling at them for bad behaviors, because we want positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is going to get them to want to do something. Negative reinforcement is just going to repeat itself. The negative behaviors are going to repeat if you respond to it with negative reinforcement. Stop rewarding them if they do pursue this negative behavior. As I mentioned, it might be the easy way out, but in the long run, it's not going to be for you. It might be the easy way out for you in the moment, but it's not going to be the easy way out for you in the future. So stop giving in and stop rewarding. The last thing I want to leave you with is give more attention and close connection. You want to be spending at least 10 minutes of quality time with your children each day to stabilize that bond and promote that positive connection with them. Because if they feel that with you, if they feel a friendship with you, they're going to take your advice. That's just naturally how humans are. If you become more of a friend to them rather than someone who is on this hierarchical scale, they're not going to want to listen to you if you're just there and you're looking down on them like that. Because they're humans. You're human, they're human. If you guys have a friendship, think about how you view your friend. You listen to their advice, right? Now think back to when you were 5. Did you ever want to listen to your parents' advice? No. You didn't want to listen because you viewed them as someone who just scolded you. You viewed them as someone who had this higher power over you. They didn't think of you as a friend and you didn't think of them as a friend. So why would you listen to their advice? So that's really what I want to leave you with. Try looking at them as if they were in your position when you were 5. How would you want your parent to treat you when you were 5? How would you want your parent to respond to you when you were whining? What did you want when you were whining? Did you want attention? Did you want a resource? How can they effectively communicate that to you? That's what we have to think about. Effectively communicating rather than scolding for bad behaviors in your head. Because you did the same thing. So what kind of parent do you want to be? Be it. With that, I wanted to conclude today's video here. I hope you guys learned something from this, and I really hope this helps for any of you who had these questions, and hopefully these techniques will work out for you. So, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time.